God, this shit is so loud. Well, I'm gonna just start off by saying good evening, good evening, good evening. This episode, basically what we're gonna discuss and try to talk about is we have a community. Start off by saying good evening, good evening, good evening. This episode, basically what we're gonna discuss and try to. Okay, let me give a little update. The way this program is set up, I cannot see the people when I'm doing this program. I can't see the people. So what I have done is on my iPad is to the left of me, and the iPad, if people leaving comments or questions, I can see that on my iPad and I'll respond to it from the iPad. So that's what's going on right now. But basically, what I want to say was we're getting prepared for our first official meeting of 2026. It is going down on January the 28th, which is Wednesday at 6:30 at Emmanuel P. Johnson. And basically, this is our first meeting, and one of the biggest things we're going to talk about is communicating with the residents in the community that are not on Facebook. That's one of the things that I feel is a big issue in what we have going on, that everything is post, 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 post. But like I was saying prior, everyone is not on social media. So if you're not on social media, if you're a senior or if you're a child, you're not getting the information if you're not on social media. And then we have a lot of problem with, a lot of people not sharing the information. And that's something we just need to try to address and get people in the habit of letting their neighbors know what's going on and inviting their neighbors to the meetings. And even if you might have a senior that don't drive or don't have no transportation, then if possible, find ways to where we can get them to the meetings. So that's one of the things that I'm really, really, really trying to dig deep in and see if we can come up with a solution pertaining to that. That's what the meeting is going to be dealing about. Then we getting together with trying to set up a Juneteenth event. PB for Life did a Juneteenth event. It was forced on us. And the reason I said it was forced on, it was a Juneteenth event, and it was like a slash type reunion in Parker's Village because COVID had came up. And when COVID came up, we could not use the park for COVID. So since we couldn't use the park for COVID, we had to have the event. We moved the event to the next available date. And that year, Juneteenth was on a Saturday. So we went on ahead and we hosted our event on Juneteenth, but that was out of the norm. That wasn't something that we would regularly do, and that wasn't something that was normal for what we did as far as the cookout was concerned. And I know a lot of people might have got confused and thought that was the reunion. In reality, it wasn't. It was the cookout, and we just addressed and we celebrated I want to say, I think it might have been 60 years. I got the shirt somewhere because the shirt for the Juneteenth event was a red and white shirt. I got the shirt around here someday. I don't remember specific dates and all of that, but I do have the shirt for that. And the meeting is open to bring your kids. You know what I'm saying? They're never too young. Well, they are too young, but you want to start them as far as participating in their community and getting involved. You want to start them as early as possible. You want to start them as early as possible. So kids are more than welcome. You can bring them. And you don't have to be from the Progress Village area to participate in this meeting. And like I said, I got one, I'm gonna say vendor, but they're not a vendor, but I'm finna open up the door to, let them know how they could be a vendor. But I have one business that is located in Progress Village. They will be there at the cookout, and it's the Wiggum Family Kitchen. They will be there. Ashley is supposed to show up, but her brother might show up, but they're supposed to be to the meeting. And just trying to get them involved. I invited other businesses, and I invited other, what they call them, peoples. I don't know why I can't remember that, because it'd be on the tip of my tongue all the time. But I invited them to the event. And basically just trying to, me personally, I just want to open up the means of communication, because as I said, my vision, all these are visions. These are things that it's something that I have an interest in getting involved with and involving the community into, and just open the door, because at the same time, I'm quite sure they have issues and they have other things that they want to address, and things that, we can talk about during this meeting. And as I said before, the goal of this is we got to put the community first. You can't be trying to come up, make money, and do this. It's not really about that. The only thing that we really need to make money for is to host the Juneteenth event and the cookout. That's about it. And other than that, it's really not that type of part. And y'all see, I keep my notes with me. And so some of the discussion that's going to be going on during the meeting is giving your hands up. And one thing about it, we're trying to make sure everybody's voice is heard. That's one of the things we are trying to do, is make sure everybody's voice is heard. But these are some of the community discussion questions that I'm going to ask during the meeting. And the first one is, how do you currently, I'm going to be asking the residents, how do you currently find out about events that is happening in Progress Village? And I guarantee you, the majority of the people are going to say through social media. What communication will work best for you, the individual? Like I said, it's going to be other people there. So like I said, I know a lot of y'all probably know Glow, but I have a video of Glow said this 2 years ago during the hurricane. Everybody is not on social media. So we need to find a way to get in contact and let the people who are not on social media be a part of what's going on. And what communication gaps do you see in our community? And the gap that I would see is I'm gonna say the seniors, them getting information, because I have went to agent services, and at the end of the day, there's a lot of seniors in the community, but at the same time, a lot of them do not go to agent services. So, but that's one of the biggest gaps that I would think is getting information to the ones that don't even go to agent services. So, as I said before, I want to try to get a dream team together, and the dream team, we're going to be the ones that's knocking on doors, introducing ourselves from the community and finding out, how can we assist them, what needs they may have, and, what events that they would like to see in the community. Because one thing about the seniors and the youth, you have to try to get something that they're interested in. And I'm seeing right now in my mind, a lot of the seniors like to play cards. I'm not saying the kids don't like to play cards, but a lot of seniors, they're going to play pinochle, bid whist, get things together at least once a month, or do it once every other month. Try to get events together aimed to them. Because when we doing cookouts and things like that, the seniors truly believe that we're not focusing on them and we focusing on ourselves. So we have to, try to do events and things that seniors want to be a part of and make them want to come out and play. I ain't gonna say play, but come out and, fellowship with us. And it's the same way with the kids. A lot of stuff that we're interested in, the kids are not interested in, just like that. Because I'm being honest, I want to play horseshoes at the cookout so bad, but I'm gonna be honest with you, this generation, I don't want no horseshoes around them, because I can see them getting mad and somebody grabbing a horseshoe and going over somebody's head. And then we had people that want to play teddy ball. I ain't seen a teddy ball since I was a child, so I don't even know, do they have teddy balls? Wouldn't even know how to find a teddy ball. But these are some of the things that when we have in this meeting, we're going to take notes. And like I said, I can guess and I can say this and I can say that, but I'm going to be speaking from my perspective and my age group. I cannot tell you what somebody 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100 would like to do, would like the community to do, and would like to do in their spare time and see us sponsor it for them. So that's something that, like I said, I'm big on that, getting events together in the community for the seniors and for the youth. And another one of the questions is, we basically just went through that. What do you feel the community need more? And as I said, more activities and more things for the seniors, especially on the weekend. Because some of them do go to agent services, and agent services is normally Monday through Friday. But then what's going on the weekend? You know what I'm saying? Some of them go to church on Sunday. So 9 times out of 10, the time to plan an event for the seniors is going to basically be on a Saturday. I know the third Saturday of the month, I think the First Baptist of Progress Village, the third Saturday of the month, they have they giveaways and they pantry and the clothes. They do that at the little park on the third Saturday of the month. And I see a lot of seniors participate in that event. So like I say, they do come out and, fellowship, and they hang out and get them out the house. So if they doing that on the third Sunday, we might want to try to plan something for the first Sunday or every other month, get something together for them. Even if it ain't nothing, just playing cards at the big park, I can, like I said, I can go out and buy decks of cards, and, we can have a spade tournament or something for the seniors. A free spade tournament. Ain't no, find little gift cards or whatever to give the winner or something like that. Make it entertaining and give them something to do at least one Saturday out the year. All these are ideas. Now, when we have the meeting, we're going to get more ideas, because like I say, these are the ideas I done came up with. The meeting is being open for anybody to come up with suggestions We're going to all jot it down, and then probably by the next month meeting or the third month meeting, which is January, February, March, which in March, we'll probably come up with what we're going to do. In 1 month, we might do this. The second month, we might do this. The third month, we might do that. But like I said, we need participation. We need people to show up with their ideas. And we basically going to, this first meeting is basically just going to be a think tank. A think tank. We thinking about things we could do for the seniors in our community. And we also thinking about how we can get them involved when we plan in Juneteenth. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they want to cook. They might have some stories they want to tell. Because one thing about the seniors and the elderly people in the community, they done seen some things that we only heard about. Some of them have experienced this. Like I tell people, I ain't never really experienced racism. I know it's out there. And to me, racism ain't somebody calling you the N-word. That ain't really racism. Racism, I'm talking about that type of stuff where they be spitting on you and all of that. To me, that's racism. That's racism to the 10th degree. I never really experienced that. I done had more people the same color as me do me bad or do something wrong to me than I have anybody of any other ethnicity do anything to me more than my own race have. So, like I said, I basically grew up in a predominantly Black neighborhood, which was Progress Village. It was predominantly Black. It's not no more, but when I grew up, that was it. The only time I had to deal with anybody outside of my race was when I went to Brooklyn Elementary, Kingswood, Apollo Beach, Progress Village, basically when I went to school. So that's when I dealt with them. And like I say, but other than that, I ain't never really had no altercation with somebody of another race. I always had issues with people the same color as me. And like I said, another one of the questions, how can we make events more senior friendly? I don't know. I get what they're trying to say, but I don't know. What support system would help seniors stay connected? And that's basically where the dream team will come in at. We'll have people, and like I say, I'm gonna have sign-in sheets, and on the sign-in sheets, when you come to the meeting, just pay attention. I'm gonna need everybody to sign in with the information so I'll be able to keep a database on how I can get in contact with you, how we can do a group chat. And when I do group chats, I don't like doing the group chats where everybody see your phone number and all of that. I don't like doing that, but like I said, we got to start the database up. And like I said, I know one of the sign-in sheets are one of the groups that you can participate in and something that you have an interest in. I know one of them is going to be youth activities, one of them is going to be senior engagement, and then one of them is going to be communication. Them like the three groups, and then Juneteenth. You can sign up for all four of them if you want to, but I'm going to tell you just like this here, don't spread yourself too thin and don't take on more than you can handle, because I'm telling you, it is easy to become overwhelmed. It is easy. But like I said, I have 4 clipboards up there with the group. If you're interested in, if you ain't interested in none of them, then not. But the biggest one for me is going to be communication / dream team. It's how we're going to get this information out about the events. Are we going to go door to door? We got, like I said, them are the only things I can think of. Go door to door, passing out flyers, introducing ourselves, and letting them know what we're trying to do, how can they assist, and might even have a questionnaire or something to where we can ask them questions if they have time and they want to, answer some questions and tell us what they think need to be done, or why they didn't, the main question is why. Ask them why they didn't come to the meeting if they didn't come. And I guarantee you, the first thing that's going to come out their mouth is they did not know about the meeting. So we got to do our best to put a stop for that. And I'm quite sure it's going to still be people saying they don't know nothing about the meeting or they didn't know we had a meeting. That's okay. But as long as we give it our best shot, that's all we can ask for. And that's all I'm going to ask of y'all. And another thing is, I'm not gonna say shadow, but when we get out there, this is another way to, when we going door to door, to have the youth paying attention and seeing what we do, because I don't care what nobody say, all the events and all the things we doing, it's done to where at some point in time, when I stop doing this, it's got to be somebody behind me, younger than me, to carry on the legacy of what we trying to start. So we have to listen to our seniors, and we have to get the youth involved. That's for sure. That's 100, if it ain't nothing else. And like I said, we got to come up with activities to motivate the youth. Now, some of these things this is on the list, but some of the stuff, when I was talking, I was just speaking based off the top of my head. But some of this stuff, like I said, is wrote down as far as, talking points on what we need to do. And one of the main questions is, it was like, what barriers keep the youth from attending community events? They don't think it pertains to them. That's what pertains to them. A lot of times when we dealing with the youth, sometimes I've seen it, I speak to all of them, but a lot of times people in the community will go right by the youth, won't speak to them. They don't label them. And like I said, I don't care what they do outside of the meeting. I do care, but I don't care. I'm not the police, so that's not my job. My job is to show them a better way or another way. Because a lot of people doing things at this young age because they think that's all they can do, or they think that's the only way to do something. And I'm speaking from experience now. I'm speaking from experience, because when I was out there, you can only work at a certain age before you can go get a job. But there's other things you can do until you're old enough to get a job. And some of them things ain't by the law. So, like I said, a lot of people get caught up in that, and that's what it is. They're not patient, and like I said, they just don't know no better. And another thing is when we reach in the youth, I'm gonna work on this myself, and I advise anybody who's interested. We need to start attending the baseball games at Progress Village. We need to start attending the football games, showing support, because I'm gonna tell y'all, there's a lot of kids that are playing and their parents ain't never seen them play. The parents treating it as a daycare. They drop their kids off, and then 9 times out of 10, a coach will come and drop the child back off. So we need to start coming to the games, supporting the youth sports. We need to. Anybody, you know what I'm saying? And if you see a kid, and you can tell when a kid might need you to say some encouraging words, and just give them some encouraging words. I always say, I try to hype them up, Then another thing is, this is a question I know I'm going to ask, and I know a lot of people are not going to have an answer, because I don't even really have an answer to it. And the thing is, what does Juneteenth mean to you? What does Juneteenth mean to you? What would make a Juneteenth event successful in the community? What I would think will make the Juneteenth event special in the community is having somebody who, I forgot the lady's name, but I did some research, and there was a lady who walked, I want to say she was from Texas. She walked from Texas to the White House, and that was her mission, to try to get Juneteenth set up as a holiday. And the thing that I would try to tell people is, and this is where people have problems, Juneteenth is not trying to take away the 4th of July, in my opinion. That's my opinion. But at the same time, I believe that you can celebrate. I don't really know how to celebrate Juneteenth, to be honest with you. I don't know if we're supposed to fire fireworks like they do 4th of July or not. But at the same time, however we decide to celebrate Juneteenth, we need to be consistent with it, and we need to make sure that there's a meaning behind how we're choosing to celebrate Juneteenth as a community. And this is a big question here. How can we strengthen partnership with Hillsborough County Parks and Recreation? For me, I would say attending, if they having an event at the park, at Emmanuel P. Johnson or any park, if they haven't sponsored Hillsborough County events, go. Attend them, sign up, and go to because like I say, the last one I went to, I want to say it was the Fall Festival. They had a lot of vendors there. They had exhibitors there. They had a lot. And that's how I was able to get Baycare to come to the cookout, because I met them at the Fall Festival and we went to talk in. Nice young lady. She didn't come to the cookout, but I met the lady at the Fall Festival. And, we had I showed her some hospitality. She said she was hungry. And when they got the hot dogs had done ran out. But, I went back there in the kitchen when they was making the hot dogs, and I brought everybody at the station, everybody at their little setup. I bought them hot dogs. And then the next table, they see me do it. So I had to turn around and go get them some hot dogs. See, one thing about them vendors, when you show them some love, they're going to remember you. Because like I said before, I went to another event and the lady was like, "You the hot dog guy." I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, "You don't remember when we was there? You bought everybody hot dogs and this and that there." I'm like, "Yeah, I bought y'all hot dogs because I bought Baycare hot dogs and I didn't want nobody to feel left out." And I would tell you, don't start nothing you don't want to finish, because if you do one for one organization, you got to do it for all of them. So like I said, I bought Baycare some hot dogs. So I had to turn around and bring all the other people that was there. I had to bring them hot dogs. Well, I asked them, did they want some hot dogs? And another question is, what role should exhibitors and vendors play in community events? Now, I'm going to do my best to explain to y'all about vendors and exhibitors. When you have an event and you have vendors there, vendors are normally the ones who are selling sodas, frozen cups, ice cream, ribs, whatever. My thing about that is, if you're giving away food at this event, you have to be careful what vendor that you invite to the event, because they may not make no money. And I'm telling you, from being a vendor myself, the vendor got to go buy all this stuff in order to vend at your event, and they're doing it to make money. Are they doing it to make a profit? They're not doing it to lose money. So when you have an event, if y'all gonna be serving food, I would be careful of what vendor you have at the event. If you serving food, you might just want somebody. You might want a vendor who does snow cones, vendor who does cupcakes or something like that. You really wouldn't want to get no vendor who's serving food like ribs or hot dogs or whatever like that, because they're going to come there and they're not going to make no money. And then they're going to be, it might be a blank trip for them, or it might be a loss. So as a person who's hosting an event, as the host who hosting an event, You have to keep that in mind when you're inviting these people here and when you're telling them they can come. Because 9 times out of 10, whenever you having a sponsor, vendor coming to an event, there's a vendor fee involved. They normally pay a fee, and on top of that fee, they need to get that. They need to be able to make that fee money back, and they need to be able to make a profit off of all the stuff they did to prepare to vend at your event. So don't get caught in a situation where you got all these different vendors up there and they come into your event and then they're not going to make no money. And then that's that. But I do know one thing, that I don't even know what you would call the bounce house people. I know when you're dealing with Hillsborough County Parks and Rec, they have a list of approved people who can set up with the bounce houses. The reason that they had that list, because it's a process that they have to go to get on the list. And I think it's the same thing for vendors. It's a process that they have to go through. They have to have insurance. They have to sign up, got to make sure they got their paperwork together. They got to have all these certain, they have to meet all these certain qualifications in order to even be on Hillsborough County Park property vending or making money. And let me explain something to y'all. When you are setting up an event with Hillsborough County Parks and Rec, they're going to ask you, are there vendors there? Are you going to have vendors? They're going to ask you, are you selling stuff? And if the answer is yes, you finna fall up under a different, I guess, qualifications in order for your application to be accepted. They're going to want to know who the vendors are, what they vending, how they got this. It's a whole thing you got to go through. That's why I always do my 6 months in advance. And like I say, the cookout is a free event, so we really don't want no vendors there. We never did. But I'm just saying, my thing is, if we did have a vendor there, I would have to let them know in advance, because it turns the type of cookout this is. It turns it into something else as far as Hillsborough County is concerned. So, like I said, Juneteenth, it may be all vendors. It may be all exhibitors. It may be all vendors or all exhibitors. We don't know yet, because, like I said, we are still in the planning stages of how we're going to do for Juneteenth. But the main thing about it, if you show up to this meeting Wednesday, the 28th at 6:30, this is when we're going to start seeing who's concerned or who want to be involved with setting up Juneteenth, who want to be involved with getting information to the seniors and the youth, who want to be involved with the cookout. We're going to get all that situated during this first meeting. That's what we're going to do, and then we're going to move from there. And like I said before, if it's some vendors that show up to the meeting, we're going to get all their information and submit it to the county and let the county get in contact with them to I let them get in contact with the county, whatever it is. If it's some vendors that show up to the event, to this to the community meeting, we're going to do everything we can to let them know what they need to have and what they need in order to be a vendor at any of these events. And I'm not saying that I'm going to need your services, but at the end of the day, I would like to know, if I did need your services, that you would be qualified and able to participate in what we got going on. So them are the things that we're going to do from the meeting, because I know it's a lot of people that want to be a vendor at these events. So that's something else. That's part of, like I said, if you're interested in being a vendor, we're gonna get all your information. I'm gonna make sure you get to the right person, and they're gonna get in contact with you, or I get in contact with you and let you know what you need in order to be a vendor at any event we do. Because, like I said before, with the Juneteenth event coming up, like I said, we don't know what we're gonna do. And we're gonna barbecue. We might need a vendor for refreshments or whatever. But like I said, I know for a fact all the events that we do, we just can't be giving out free food. We can, it's possible. But I'm just saying, it's going to be some events that are going to be fundraisers. Some of the events are going to be fundraisers, and the fundraiser events is what's going to pay for Juneteenth and the cookout. And like I said before, this first meeting is basically a communication with the community and getting everything together so we can move forward and work as a team. And then we're going to know who on the team. And like I said before, one thing about it, even if you miss this first meeting, next month you can come in, you can hop in like you came to the first meeting. But it just to get it, you got to start somewhere. So we're starting Wednesday. And Wednesday is not going to be the official night that we host our meetings. That's probably going to be Tuesday. And the reason it's Wednesday, because that was available. And I know a lot of people going to say they go to Bible study on Wednesday. I go to Bible study too. But this Wednesday, I would not be at Bible study because I will be hosting this community meeting at Emmanuel P. Johnson. And then again, we got to find ways to get Samson Park involved. We got to find ways to get Caramel involved. We got to find ways to get, Green Ridge, Palm River. We got to find ways to get all these communities. I went to school with all these people. So I know somebody from Samson Park. I know somebody from Green Ridge. I know somebody from Caramel. I know somebody from Palm River. We got to get everybody involved in what's going on. And like I said, any event that I host or any event that I got a part with, y'all are always welcome. I don't care if it's called Progress Village Cookout or PV for Life Cookout. Y'all are all welcome. The only reason, because if it was in Winston Park, we would be calling it Winston Park Cookout. So the only reason we named it that, because we hosting it and it's in Progress Village. Who knows? The next 2 years, we might be having an event in Samson Park. They have a park right there on, I think that's on Causeway before you get to 301. It's a little park right there. Everybody know about Winston Park. So like I said, but we can't just pop up and do a meeting or pop up talking about we're going to host an event there when we don't have nobody from that community that's even interested in being a part of what we're doing. But if they come, trust and believe you me, we'll find a way to make it work and assist and, be 10 toes down. And one thing about it, I probably should have said a lot of this at the beginning of the event. If you have any, I'm going to repeat this, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. If you have any community events or events that you want us to know about, or you want me to know about, or you want me to attend, please DM me, call me, send me your flyer, and like I said, I will post it in the appropriate place. I'm over 3 or 4 different groups, so I will post whatever your flyer is, I will post it in the appropriate group. So if you have some information that you want to get out there and you need people to share it, send it to me. I will share. I promise you I will share. And if I don't share, I will get back in contact with you and tell you why I cannot share. I owe you that. And like I said, that's all part of communication, because everything I ain't posting. But like I said, if it's a place that I can post it, like my personal page versus the group page and versus Progress Village news page, I will post it. So like I said, I will determine where it go at, and I'll let you know where I posted it at. and I'll let you know if I couldn't post it. Because a lot of times what I do, if you got something, I would just share what you post, and that's it. I just share it. But like I said, if you have something particular, because if I don't see it, I can't share it. So my thing is, because I had a person, I'm gonna say about 3 months ago, somebody got mad with me, or they got in their feelings because one of their family members had passed away, and they felt like I should have shared the family member obituary and that type of stuff in the group, which normally I don't really do that. But what I do is, if you make a post, I share your post, but it got to be shareable. If it ain't shareable, I can't share it. So the person who did all of that, I went on their page and they posted it, but it's not shareable. If it's not shareable, what you want me to do? So like I said before, we are here together. I'm doing my best. And like I said before, opening up that communication from any social group, whatever, just come there. And if you got, like I say, just be heard. Because we got to start somewhere. Once we get this together, it's going, because to me, I be feeling a certain kind of way when I find out about an event after it done happen. Like, I went to, a lot of y'all may not know this, I don't even know what to call it no more. I don't know, was it a banquet or what? But Private Village Panthers had their event today at 4 p.m. at the Regent in Brandon. So I went there and showed my face, spoke to people, that I know from the organization. A lot of people that I was looking for didn't show up, but that was cool. But like I said, the theme was boots on the ground. So that was the event. Like I said, I don't know, was it a banquet or was it boots on the ground? But they had their event today at 4 o'clock. And if I ever share your event and you don't want to share it, please let me know. You ain't got to start no fight or just let me know. And trust you me, I do know how to unshare. And oh yeah, I got a bike drop. I did get a bike drop. I will have a bike drop at the event, and I've been buying I ordered a canopy and all of that there. So whenever they have events, especially when Hillsborough County have events, they always love people to come out and talk about their organization and talk about what they're doing in the community. So I did order a canopy and this and that there. So I do have a setup. And another thing about that is we want to find, I don't want to be the only one to go to these events and, talk about what we're doing in the community. So we're going to have to find some people, or at least get them on the text message to where if they want to pull some shifts, or I can be there from this time to that time, or this time to that time. We're gonna have to work together. That's all I'm gonna say. We're gonna have to work together and make things pop. And like I said, and if you want to be at the tent and you want to bring information about your organization as well, trust and believe me, you are more than welcome. Long as I know what's going on, that's the only thing I need to know what's going on. Because somebody come back to me, I want to be able to say, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. And another thing I want y'all to remember, I got in contact with Mars 47. Mars 47 has events going on Wednesday. They got events going on Wednesday, same night we having the meeting. So I hope they're able to send over a representative from the Mars, because they can do more talking and they can, go into detail about what's going on. And I'll probably put this in the chat with this, but they have a study group Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Now our event start at 6:30, so I'm hoping that Chad or Keisha, somebody can come over there, and I understand that they got the lead, but I'm hoping that they can show up. And then they have a self-improvement class on Friday at 7:30 p.m. I'm gonna probably go over all these notes again tomorrow because I have a workshop I got to go to all next week. So all next week in the morning, I got to go look and check the email to see what time it is. But I have a workshop all next week that I got to go to. It's basically some training. So I'll be taking care of that all this week. Talking about next week, that's this week, that's tomorrow. So that's something that I have going on. And save the date. We have save the date for January the 28th, 6:30 at Emmanuel P. Johnson. That's a save the date. That's for the community meeting that I'm hosting. Me, PV for Life, and Youseeeit podcast is hosting a community event this Wednesday at 6:30 at Emmanuel P. Johnson. We also have the Mars 47. They have the study night Wednesday at 7:30. And they also have I just said what it was, but they also have the self-improvement class at 7:30 at Mars 47, which is in the Progress Village Plaza off of Flower. Progress Village Plaza off of Flower. They have their meeting there. And then they also have Sunday lecture at 11 a.m. I'm encouraging anybody that has never been to the mosque in Progress Village. This is the only mosque in Progress Village. This is the first mosque in Progress Village. If anybody has never been or you've been wondering about what's going on, I would advise you to go at 11 o'clock, check it out and see what's going on. Pay attention because I always try to go when Chad is preaching, which I know is not fair, but I'm biased. I grew up with Chad. So at the same time, they do have other ministers, student ministers that are preaching, but normally when I get something from Chad and I'm available, I normally go. Just so y'all know, I cut my foot and got stitches. So a lot of, that's why I haven't been really messing around with the bicycle and whatnot, because I don't want to put too much pressure on my foot. And with the shoes, I like to just walk in the shoes and try to be flat-footed as I can. And just so y'all know, if y'all keep seeing me look away, I have the game on at the same time. The game is behind the monitor. The football game is on behind the monitor. So if you look at my glasses, you might see the football game going on. So and the announcements are February the 20th, we have the movie in the park. Movie in the park is at the Big Park, aka Progress Village Park, which is off of Progress Village Boulevard. And then for those of you that do not know, I noticed 2 or 3 days ago that the overpass the road has been repaired over the overpass. So all that bumper to bump and how people kept swerving to go around and going up into the shoulder, you don't have to do that no more because they have fixed the overpass on Progress Village Boulevard. Robin Taylor had contacted me and told me about that. So I'm just letting y'all know that the overpass has been repaired and a work order has been put in for the drain on 85th Street. The drain, they put a barricade up there for now, but a work order has been put in for that. And we're going to move forward for that. And another thing is anybody has a lawn service, and I'm not going to even ask you to donate your time, but I have a project that's probably about, I'm going to just say 12 feet wide, and probably 4 houses long in Progress Village. It's an area back there off of Ironwood. I done got in contact with them. They keep closing the case. So what I'm going to do is just get somebody to cut it. And if I got to pay them, it's no problem. But like I said, if you have a lawn service, every time I see William Sanders, I keep forgetting to ask him about it. But if somebody has a lawn service and they're interested in taking care of this little issue for me, have them get in contact with me and we'll work something out and get it taken care of. because one of the residents in that area is worried about the overgrowth behind her house. So, and this is what it did used to be at. So, if you have a lawn service, even if you don't even know, if you got a lawnmower, you want to cut it with your lawnmower, get in contact with me, and we'll see what we could do about getting that taken care of, and then I'll worry about getting it hauled off. But I just want to knock it down for her and move forward. So I'm gonna let y'all go tonight because, like I say, the game is on. I know I owe y'all 10 more minutes, but we all good in the hood. So keep your head on the swivel. I'm gonna probably go. I know I'm gonna go live in the morning. I'm gonna probably go live Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday in the morning. I don't know what time, but I'm gonna be going live with Progress Village News on them 3 dates. But I know next week, I promise y'all, I'm gonna have. If you have an announcement or anything, we're gonna do announcements first. So that's gonna be the first thing I do. As soon as I log on, I'm gonna go ripping off all the community events, all the announcements. I'm gonna do that first. Even if you got a birthday and you want me to do the birthday, send it. I'm gonna do all the announcements before we get started, and I'm gonna have a topic. But like I said, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday in Progress Village News, we're probably I'm still going to be talking about the community event. Share. If you got to bring somebody, bring somebody. If you know somebody, tell somebody. Like I said, I want everybody to stand up. I don't want a seat to be empty. I don't want a seat to be empty, and I want people to have to stand up in the hallway. That's what I want, because that means you care about your community and you want to be a part of what's going on. So if you can do me that favor, and you don't have to do the favor for me, you do it for yourself. Come out there, be a part, just see what's going on, see how we operate, see what, you know what I'm saying, what you can be a part of. And this is your opportunity, This is your opportunity to make some change and to make some decisions. And most importantly, out of everything that I just said, the most important thing is to be heard. We're going to hear what you got to say, and then we're going to come up with solutions.